So the way that South Africans vote could reshape the next chapter of our democracy, but the plan to change it just fell apart. Today we're unpacking the gridlock over how South Africa chooses its political leaders, the good news behind our exit from the notorious grey list, and how Home Affairs is finally delivering passports straight to your doorstep. Plus, in the Wildcard, the forgotten story of how South Africa actually became a republic. My friends, if you are enjoying the show, be sure to like and subscribe. And now, with all that out the way, let's get into it. So one of the biggest reasons that South Africa struggles with accountability and even political stability lies in the way we vote. So when you cast your ballot, you don't vote for a specific person, you vote for a party. That party then decides which of its members get seats in parliament. And so it's a system designed to be fair to smaller parties, but it's also made MPs, members of parliament, answer more to party bosses than to the people who actually elect them. And so that's what the Electoral Reform Panel was supposed to fix, finding a way for voters to choose individuals without losing the fairness of proportional representation. But then after more than a year of consultations, the panel itself just fell apart. I mean, this past Friday, it was legally required to submit one unified report to Parliament. Instead, it delivered two conflicting ones. One side wanted smaller constituency-based voting, the other side just wanted to keep the system largely as it is. So now Parliament's stuck deciding how to move forward. And unless it finds consensus soon, South Africans may have to wait until after 2029 for a system where individual politicians actually answer to the people. A big shout out to our expats out there. Turns out government misses you almost as much as we do. From the 1st of November, Home Affairs will start delivering passports straight to your doorstep abroad. It's part of a new global rollout launched in The Hague in Holland, where South Africa just opened one of 18 new international service centers. The move cuts passport waiting times from 18 months to just 5 weeks, with courier delivery in 24 to 72 hours for about $30 to $60. Now, the plan itself is to test with South Africans abroad first, a smaller, more manageable group, before bringing the same doorstep delivery home. So this is all part of Minister Leon Schreiber's push to turn Home Affairs from laggard to world leader in identity management. And honestly, he's not exaggerating. Visa turnaround times have nearly doubled in efficiency this year, and a lot of the department's digital upgrades are actually working. But just as the department's reputation was climbing, one former employee in Calvinia recently brought it crashing back down. Found guilty of faking people's deaths to cash in on funeral insurance. So yes, Home Affairs is coming to your doorstep. Just maybe double check the paperwork. South Africa has just been let out of financial detention, and this time it's for all the right reasons. You see, after 2 years on the Financial Action Task Force's grey list, which is basically a global watch list for countries that don't do enough to prevent money laundering or the flow of criminal funds, South Africa's name has finally been cleared. So when we landed on it in 2023, everyday banking got tougher. I mean, companies faced extra forms, slower payments, and foreign investors just started looking elsewhere. Treasury then spent the last 2 years trying to fix that, tightening anti-money laundering laws, forcing banks to report suspicious transactions faster, and rebuilding the crime units meant to enforce them. FATF inspectors then came to Pretoria in July, verified every fix, and this week in Paris gave the official all clear. So practically, it means fewer hurdles for businesses moving money abroad, smoother transactions for citizens working overseas, and also a small but symbolic signal that reform here can deliver results. So for now, South Africa is back on the right side of that list, and hopefully it stays there. And before we cruise on to our Bagel Bite of the day, here's a couple other headlines worth knowing. For starters, Adcock Ingram, maker of Panado and Corenza C, will officially delist from the JSE on November 11th, after shareholders approved Indian firm Natco Pharma's 4.2 billion rand takeover. Bidvest will keep its 64% stake as Natco expands across Africa. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula is facing questions over a secretive August trip to Libya on a luxury jet owned by tobacco businessman Adriano Mazzotti. He's refused to say why he went or who paid for the 1.7 million rand flight. And just a heads up to everyone, I came across this recently launched platform called Still Good. And they basically help South Africans stretch their grocery budgets by selling food close to its sell-by date at big discounts, saving shoppers millions. So be sure to check them out. And on to our Bagel Bite of the day. Let's see what you got. The question is, Which British band released the 1973 album The Dark Side of the Moon? Was it A, the Beatles, B, Pink Floyd, or C, the Rolling Stones? We'll give you the answer at the end of the show. And on to our wildcard section. By 1961, South Africa had been self-governing for decades. It ran its own parliament, taxes, and military, but it still had one thing that tied it to Britain: the Queen. So our Prime Minister, Hendrik Verwoerd, wanted to change that. His government argued that South Africa was already independent and no longer needed a foreign monarch as head of state. But in saying that, there was also politics behind the principle. You see, Britain's growing opposition to apartheid made that break inevitable, and so this new republic gave our Prime Minister a way to strengthen control at home while stepping away from international criticism. So a whites-only referendum in 1960 narrowly voted yes to becoming a republic. And on the 31st of May 1961, the Union of South Africa officially became the Republic of South Africa. The Queen's portrait came down, the Union Jack came off the mast, and we officially withdrew from the Commonwealth altogether. And so, it wasn't independence won through struggle, it was independence rebranded through power. A republic born not from freedom, but from isolation. And as for that Bagel Bite, the answer is Pink Floyd. And The Dark Side of the Moon isn't just one of the best-selling albums ever made, it stayed on the Billboard 200 for a record 14 years straight. And my friends, that's it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys all had a great weekend and that you have a great start to the week. Remember, be kind to one another, and we'll catch you all tomorrow for the next round of the good stuff. God bless.